Now, all right, so you're all set.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Too Opinionated. One that I'm probably the most excited for since Richard Hatch.
Richard Hatch.
I love Richard Hatch. Today we have Parks and Rec actor and played Santa Claus once in Disney Princess Battles, which I am surprised I know.
As the rap battles, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jim O'Hare, how are you today, Jim?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Well, honestly, like I said, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's a big day for us.
You guys, those rap battles, they get like 35 million views.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's
I'm
wild.
amazed that I've stumbled upon it. I was watching it once, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, they're pretty cool. Yeah, they're pretty cool, and they're highly produced. It's a really, they're nailing that stuff.
So how did you get in on that?
You know what? They got a hold of me, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend type thing, and they sent me a bunch of their stuff, which is the best way to do it, because then you see what, people are really doing. Because believe me, I get offered stuff literally every day, and God bless people, but some of it I just wouldn't get involved in. And so they sent me a couple of the rap battles that they had already done, and they were so well done. I thought, yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. So next thing you know, and her name is Whitney. Whitney, oh God, I think Avalon. I could be wrong about that, but she's kind of a genius. And we just had a blast. And they let me, which I love. I love when, shows I'm on let you play and, kind of throw your own little thing into the mix. So yeah, that was a great experience.
Good. It looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I should be on that show.
Who would you be?
I'd be terrible whoever I was. It would not be a good show. It would not get 35 million views. I can tell you that.
I got to be Santa and I got to grab my crotch. So, it was all good.
You don't hear that often in the same sentence.
You don't. And actually, you shouldn't hear it often. You should not hear that.
It's kind of funny. I hear it too often.
That's scary.
Well, Jim, we're so happy to have you on, and I was wondering if you could just take a minute and kind of give us an idea of how you got into acting, where you got your start.
Yeah, well, it didn't start as acting. When I graduated high school, I hadn't have a clue what I wanted to do. Probably like a lot of people.
Sure.
And this is almost embarrassing, but I went to Loyola University, which is great school in Chicago, and I went because my friends were going to be accountants, and I thought, well, okay, that kind of sounds okay. Like literally, I had no direction at all. So I went to business school, and as I was there, just randomly, I got involved in the radio station there, and they kind of let you do whatever you wanted. You could play whatever you wanted. You could say whatever you wanted. It was this, little radio station, it only had like a 1-block radius. I mean, so you couldn't cause any damage.
Right.
But I really loved it. Anyway, cut to the chase. I ended up leaving Loyola, going to a broadcast. It was called the Midwest Broadcast Academy in Chicago. I got a reel, and I started sending out my reel all over the country, and I ended up as the DJ. That was my first gig, as a morning DJ in a little town called Rensselaer, Indiana.
Yeah.
And, I thought I was so cool because here was my morning sign-on. Believe me, this is awful, but at the time I was like, oh, yeah, I'm nailing this. I was like, good morning, Jim O'Hare on the air in Rensselaer. Now, it technically doesn't even rhyme. When you really piece it apart, it does not even rhyme. So, but I thought it was something. But the weird thing that happened, and to this day, I don't know who this person is, that I got a call one day, and the secretary came in and said, some guy wants to talk to you off air. Okay. It was a little town, so I didn't think anything of that. And he said, I work with Second City. I drive through this area. My daughter goes to St. Joe's College. I drive through this area a lot. And I just think, you should consider, I like, your spontaneity, whatever. You should consider, looking into Second City, taking classes, stuff like that.
Right.
It went in my head. And then when that gig was over, for many reasons, crazy owners and all this kind of stuff, that call stuck with me. And next thing you know, I'm taking classes at Second City. And I can tell you, I know to the moment I stepped on the stage, I got my first laugh. And inwardly, I literally had this shaking of, oh, you found it. You found it. You know what you love. Now, did I ever think it would pay my bills? Not in a million years. But I knew I found something that I love, that I really love. And so that's where it started. And then I got in with like-minded people, and we started a comedy group. And then I started doing theater throughout Chicago and taking classes and blah, 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 all the stuff you do. And next thing you know, that's what I'm doing. I mean, that is a living. Again, I had a full-time job in the city to pay my bills. But at night, that is where my passion was and where my heart was. And so that started at this little comedy, the Second City, and then onto a comedy group. And then I started working with some of the bigger theaters in Chicago. And to this day, I still can't believe some of them hired me, but they did. And then I did this one crazy show in Chicago called Stumpy's Gang. And Stumpy's Gang was puppets and blood and puke. And it was the craziest show you've ever seen. Truly one of the craziest shows you've ever seen. And it became this cult show in Chicago. People were lined up around the block to see it. They were dressed as my character, like this crazy janitor. So we decided it's crazy enough to bring to LA. And so we brought it to LA. And I give credit, that show changed my life, because I said to friends in Chicago, you guys, I'm going to go for 3 months. I'm going to do the show. I'm going to come back, and then I will have tried LA. Well, that was 26 years ago, and I've never been back because the show got the same attention in LA that it had in Chicago. So next thing you know, agents are there, managers are there. And so I had representation, and then that led to auditions, which led to bookings. And then it just kind of, spiraled from there. And believe me, not every year was great, but I can say that since I moved to LA in 1994, that I've never, thankfully, had to work a side hustle to pay my bills. It's always been off.
That's great.
So, yeah, and believe me, some years really tight, like really tight. And then other years, a lot better. And then I became kind of well known as like the local guest actor. I've been on all these different shows.
Sure.
And so, making a pretty good living. And then Parks comes along, a show like Parks and Recreation, and that it changes the whole landscape.
Right. Yeah. We've talked to a lot of actors in LA, and at least half of them are working construction, or they're Uber drivers, or something, just to kind of it's so expensive out there just to get by.
And it's a very unfair business, and in that way, I mean, every business, nothing is perfect, but as an actor, I have friends, good friends, who are so much more talented than I could ever dream to be, who can't get agents. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just a tough business. So I am grateful every single day, the fact that it worked out, because believe me, if it didn't, I don't know what the hell I'd be doing. I don't have a clue, because I guess I would have continued with accounting, maybe. I don't know. And I don't know that I would have been good at that. I don't know.
You might have been podcasting.
I might have been podcasting. Yes, with Pratt, and I could have been helping him with his biology tests, and I could have been doing it.
That would have been nice. That'd been really nice. I didn't tell you guys, I took an hour away. And I don't want to brag, but I got here in 30 minutes. So,
you shouldn't brag about that.
Yeah.
I didn't get
Some things are important enough to speed for.
Not this. No, I felt guilty.
Did you feel bad? Yeah.
This isn't on that list. Okay, good to know.
Well, Jim, I think you talked a little bit. You'd been on a lot of different shows before Parks and Rec, and I was trying to think of the first thing that I'd seen you in, and I think I could be wrong, but I think it was playing the alien on Star Trek Voyager. I think.
Oh, dude!
I remember seeing you.
That is wild. And let me tell you, I had 1 or 2 scenes. Okay, and here's how crazy the power of television, I guess, and certainly the power of Trekkies. I had a condo in Hollywood, and I was going to move. I go to sell the condo. So the realtor brings in this father who's going to buy his son a place. Not a bad deal.
Right.
And the kid walks in, and he goes, "Oh my God, you are in Star Trek." He talked his dad into buying the place. I had 1 or 2 scenes. It wasn't like I was a series regular.
That's all it takes.
It's all it takes. And I had this weird, like, vagina-looking thing on my forehead. And I was called like a husband. I forget. It was like all. Oh, sorry, helicopters. Welcome to LA, people.
Hey, that's right.
But anyway, it was just so crazy. Yes, that little, but are you a Trekkie? Are you a diehard Trekkie?
Oh yeah, of course.
No.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
Brett
guys
is not.
Yes, you guys know all that stuff. I'm not that person, but I've gotten to, hang a little bit with Shatner and Takai, and
Oh wow,
it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a different level of fandom, I think.
Yes,
for
it really
the Trekkies.
is.
That's
I went to my first Comic-Con last. I feel like it was last April. I don't know, and they are lined up to see Shatner and Takai and Kate
Kate Mulgrew. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, holy cow, they're adored. They're adored.
Oh yeah, and
Wow.
rightfully so. I've been working on Brett, but he's slow to come around.
Okay, Brett, what are you obsessed with?
Yeah, what are you obsessed with, Brett?
Like Star Wars.
Star Wars, okay.
Yeah, like Star Wars, like DC and Marvel. Star Trek's just junk.
Oh, damn. Woo.
That's a typical.
Boy, just got cold, and I'm in LA. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's the show's called Too Opinionated, and we have a bit of a generation gap, so
I get
we
it.
tend to disagree on the things. Although I'm a big Star Wars fan too. You can like both.
Yeah. Are you guys Marvel? Are you into Pratt, like Guardians of the Galaxy, and?
Of course.
Yeah. No, I like that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I did forget he was on Parks and Rec. I forgot that.
Yeah, Chris was on Parks and Rec.
Chris is my boy. I love that boy. He's true. Here's what I'll say about Pratt. Actors again, it's a tough business, and other people get different gigs and everything, and it's crazy. He so deserves everything that has happened with his success, because he is one of the kindest people I've ever met. And I'm not just saying it because he's Chris Pratt. If I just knew him as my neighbor, I would be saying that he's just a kind dude. And it's just, and we have this thing called the Parks Family Text. So we're always texting and chatting with each other. And he sent I can't tell you what was on it, but he sent us all a picture the other day. And of course, it's just typical Pratt. But I look at it, I start laughing, and then I hit delete, because it shouldn't be true. It just shouldn't be true. No, and nothing terrible. I'm totally joking. But he's just the greatest guy in the world.
Yeah, I've always heard that. I think if I remember the story right, he was a waiter when he got picked up for Everwood. I think it was Everwood. And
I believe he was living in Hawaii, and the casting director saw him at, I believe, Bubba Gump's. I could be wrong about some of the details.
Yeah, that sounds right to me, but you would know.
He goes to L.A., and he gets Everwood. And when he started Parks, he was not a series regular. They cast him to do 6 episodes as Ann Perkins' boyfriend, crazy guy, whatever. And the producers realized really quick, okay, how is this guy even available to us, and how do we lock him down? And that's what they did, obviously. And
I heard, and you'll have to tell me if this is right. I heard that when you first started on Parks, or when you tried out for the role, you were actually trying out for Ron Swanson.
You guys, you froze. All I heard was you.
Oh yeah, you're frozen. Hang on.
That connection is unstable.
I think it was.
I think it was me. Oh, there you're back. Okay, there you're back.
There we're back. Okay, so I didn't hear your question. I don't know what you said.
Yeah, so when you started on Parks and Rec, my understanding was you originally tried out for Ron Swanson.
Yeah. The word got out, Amy Poehler, at the time it was called the Untitled Amy Poehler Project, because it didn't have a name yet. She had just come off of SNL, and she was a hot property because she's Amy Poehler. And so everybody wanted in, just at least to get into an audition. So the Jerry character didn't exist. So everybody was going in and reading for Ron Swanson. And I mean, you should see the list of people that I found out read for Ron Swanson. Tons of people. I mean, tons of famous people.
Right.
But I believe, from what my understanding is, that Nick was always their guy. Like, can you imagine anyone other than Nick Offerman? It makes no sense. But
I can imagine Jim O'Hare or Richard Hatch, honestly.
Yeah, boy, his obsession with Richard Hatch has got me a little nervous.
I tell you what, we got to meet Richard at a show about a year ago, probably a few months before we saw you in Louisville. I think's where we saw you, and you would have thought. I mean, you talk about starstruck. I mean, it took me forever just to get him to come up to say hello to him.
And I just saw a video of him talking about he's pretty pissed that he's not on the latest Winners Survivor season.
Well, he's Richard Hatch, Jim.
I know.
Well, we had him on the show, and he said originally he was supposed to be on it, and for whatever reason they backed him off of it kind of last minute. So I don't think he was too happy with that.
Okay, well, Brett, I got a question for you, dude. I'm putting you right in the fire now.
Yeah.
Okay, you walk up. Richard and I are both on fire. Who are you going to piss on to put it out?
Yeah. Come on.
Well,
just know that I could hit a button that ends this conversation right now.
Answer correctly.
Yeah, no, I think I'd choose you, Jim.
There you go.
I truly believe that Richard is like a phoenix. You know,
you could swivel.
He will rise from the ashes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I like that. Yeah, your son is nuts.
yeah.
Just so you know.
I know. You're not telling me anything. Well, Jim, tell me a little bit, because we couldn't imagine anybody playing Jerry on Parks and Rec. And, you were one of those characters that was, just kind of a side character. And then you did that episode where, well, how was it? You were faking getting mugged, I think's what it was. And it seemed like from that point on, you were a regular on the show. You were one of the main characters.
The way it all happened was when I initially so anyway, I auditioned for Ron Swanson. I think 2 weeks later, they called and said, would Jim come in and read? They liked something I did and whatever. Would he come in and read for this Jerry character? So, of course. So I go in and I read for it. And, you walk in the room, the audition room, and there's, 10 other guys. So, they're big guys, little guys. So they're still trying to figure out who Jerry is.
Right.
So anyway, the story that I hear from my understanding is that, the show was created by Mike Schur and Greg Daniels. And apparently Greg said to Mike, put him at a desk. It'll work itself out. Like, in other words, we'll figure this out, because they thought I was funny or whatever. But the interesting story, and nothing against my agents at the time, because they were trying to protect me, but I get the call that I booked this. And they said, but we got to tell you, they were very honest. They don't know what's happening yet. You're going to just kind of be in the office. And at this point, I've worked a lot. So, and there's nothing wrong with background work, but I've been there, done that. You know what I mean? Like you don't go backward. So they said, we don't know if you want to take this, because you might feel like an extra for these 6 episodes and then, whatever. And, I took it in what they were saying, but all I kept going back to was, these are the guys who created The Office.
That's
and look
right.
what happened to Kevin and Meredith and Phyllis and Stanley and Creed.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought it was a no-brainer, and I was happy to take the gamble. So yeah, I was just hired as a we don't know what's going to happen guy. Me and Retta, who played Donna on the show, we were in the same boat. And so you're right. So season 1 comes and goes, and I was in every episode, and I got to have a line here and a line there, and I'd cross and I'd whatever they had me do. But then seeing season 2, I'll never forget, because one of the producers came up and said, they're writing you an episode. Said,
awesome.
My episode, like the storyline? And he said, yeah. And that shocked me, because I knew on The Office, because I was a big fan of The Office, those other characters, it took years before they got any type of decent storyline. So, and it was the storyline about being mugged,
right?
Because I had been, walking my dog. I fell into a river because my burrito fell. There was farting. There was all sorts of stuff going on, and that did change it. But what really, really, really changed everything for my character was there was an episode before that, which is why I think they gave me an episode. Where who was our guest star at the time? The comedian who got in all the trouble, redhead. Who am I?
Louis C.K.
Oh,
Louis
yeah.
C.K.
Louis
He was
C.K.
playing Amy's boyfriend. And
Yeah.
we did an episode where we were finding dirt on each other. And like in the office.
Right. Yeah.
And my character was like, I don't think this doesn't feel right, because Jerry's such a sweet guy. So, but, okay, he's going to play. So at the time we had the character Mark Brandanowitz.
Yes.
And Mark Brandanowitz comes up to me or he comes up and I say, so I hear you have 2 unpaid parking tickets. Big ass deal. But this is what I said to him. And he goes, oh, really? Well, I heard that your adoptive mother smokes pot. And Jerry's like, what? He goes, you didn't know she smoked pot? And I go, I didn't know I was adopted. And that's when Dan Gore wrote that. And he is, I love it to this day. I always credit him because that's when they all said, now we know who Jerry is. He's going to be that guy. He's going to be the guy not fully in tune with everything that's going on. He's going to be, as Ron would say, the Shlemiel Shlemazel of the office. So, and then Dan now does Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Him and Mike Schur co-created that. A couple of those. So Jerry got established pretty well in season 2, and then we ended up doing 7 seasons. So it was just a gift, just such a gift.
Yeah, that's terrific, and it's one of those shows similar to The Office that the more you watch it, the better it gets because there's so much going on.
People always like, oh, The Office against Parks. I love them both. I've seen every episode of The Office 10 times easy. You know what I mean? I love The Office. And actually, I've done Comic-Cons with The Office people, and people lose their minds when they see the Parks people and The Office people together. It's like, it makes no sense.
How did you get into the Comic-Cons?
I can tell you exactly. From The Office, Meredith, played by Kate Flannery, we're buddies, and we're on the same charity committee. And anyway, she said, Jim, I've been doing these Comic-Cons, and they're a lot of fun. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of thought that's what you did when maybe your career was on the downswing and you were older. But the world has changed.
Yeah, it has.
It's everybody and their brother do this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I did my first one in Washington with Kate and with Oscar and Creed, and we had a blast. And so that's how it started. So I don't think it's the kind of thing I could do. Some people do them weekly. Like I couldn't do that. It's I don't know if people realize it's a lot of costing. And by that, I mean, you have to be on, you know what I mean? And you want to give these people a moment. So you can't just slack off and just go, hi, nice to meet you. First of all, that's not how I would ever want to be anyway. I'm not that person. But anyway, I find them to be incredibly exhausting, like crazy exhausting. So, but 2 or 3 a year, I think it'd be great.
Well, yeah, because you're talking, most shows last several days.
Oh, it's
and you're
2
there.
to 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, you're there all day long. And every person, most of them are paying for something.
Yes.
And you want to give them just a minute or something because they're taking the time to wait in line. And
absolutely. But I have seen others who don't give a whole lot, and I'm thinking, that ain't right. So if I can't give a lot, I shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? So I spread them out. I don't think I have another one, and I think I'm doing one in July. I couldn't do. I can't do them a lot. I've learned that that's me.
I think that's a good way to do it. And Brett and I talk about that all the time because we get frustrated sometimes with the ones that you can tell they don't even want to be there, and you're just wondering, what are you doing
here?
You're
putting out your money to say hi and get pictures and everything. That ain't right.
Before you ask, no, we're not talking about Will Wheaton.
Oh, poor Will. Yeah,
wow.
Will had a rough show with us.
That's so
poor
funny.
Will.
Wow.
And we're big fans. We're big Will fans.
I get it.
So every time I turn on TBS, since they started showing Friends, it's that episode with you in it. And I think I watched it a few times before I realized it was you.
A lot of people. And what's crazy about that episode, and when people realize it, again, mind's blown, Anna Faris was also a guest star.
Yeah, she was.
Anna ended up marrying Chris Pratt.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's so weird. And so I always used to joke with Pratt, like, dude, you are lucky I didn't play my A game. Because, she would have loved this old fat guy over you any day.
Right.
But anyway, Yeah, so it was weird. And Anna and I, she had never done, that was her first multicam show, because she was kind of known for those, those movies that were those mockumentary of horror movies. Scream, was it Scream or
Scary Movie?
Scary Movie. What am I?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, and she had her own fan base. So anyway, she had never done it, and so she was nervous. And me, I had done a million, multicams by then, and so she was just such a sweetheart. And so when worlds collided, and then we did Parks, and she's with Pratt, and anyway, it was really sweet.
Yeah, that's great. And I love
I just found a picture that said, on Friends, Jim O'Heir played an adoption agent worker who mixed up Chandler and Monica's title. Damn it, Jerry.
Exactly. Everything leads back to damn it, Jerry. Everything.
So wait, time out. Which name is the right one?
Well, legally, his name is Gary. Gary Gergich. That is legal.
Gotcha.
But it started as Jerry. I was too embarrassed to tell my boss he called me the wrong name, so I left it at Jerry. And people always say, "What's your favorite?" Well, I was cast as Jerry. You know what I mean? That's all I knew, because I didn't know any of this storyline until you get into the show. So I love Jerry. That's just kind of, and there's not a day, literally a day goes by if I'm out in this world that I don't hear, "Damn it, Jerry, go to hell, Jerry, you ruin everything, Jerry." Yeah, every day.
that must be tough. Yeah, that must be tough. I'd love that.
Actually, I got to tell you though, they say it with love, because then they'll come up and they're like, "Oh my God, I love you so much." So it's just their way of, I don't know, but I've been very lucky, because I have, celebrity friends who, they don't get a lot of love sometimes, whether it's online or whether it's in public. Like, people can be rotten. They just can be. I've never, ever encountered anything other than appreciation and gratefulness. And so I'm lucky, because I especially some of my female friends, you gain 5 pounds or lose 5 pounds, and don't go on the internet, because you're going to hear all about it. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel about my dad.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's
Hold you accountable.
He does not let me gain weight.
We got a treadmill right off screen. I just throw him on.
There you go. Uh-huh.
Well, Jim, I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm not a soap opera guy, but my understanding was you had a really nice run on Bold and the Beautiful.
I don't even know if it was called a run. I got this call. I'd never done a soap opera, and I got a call, and they said they want to do kind of like celebrity stunt on this soap opera, Bold and the Beautiful, with you and one of the women from Everybody Loves Raymond, Monica Haran.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I've never done that. I kind of always wondered what that's like." So we do this, and we're the fun, crazy couple who we end up traveling. We're just the nightmare plane passengers. Like, you don't want to sit near us. I'm eating rotten food, and anyway. So it was. We did it. I think in 2 days we shot 4 episodes, because soap operas are boom, 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 boom.
Quick.
I had never experienced anything like it. Like, I learned real fast. If you're not liking the way your take is going, you better shut it down, because they're going to use it. Like, you gotta swear or do something so that they stop, because if you get the words out, they're going to use it. Where in my normal world, I could do as many takes as I need, or I can say, "Hey, what if we tried this, or what if we tried that?" They just don't have the time. They're shooting an hour a day. I mean, we do a half hour in 5 days, an hour in 8 normally for TV shows, 8 to 10 for an hour long. These soap operas are amazing. So anyway, and then I'll never forget, I was heading to Chicago to shoot something, and on the way there I get this call, and it's this guy, Mr. Phillips, and he goes, "Jim, I want to congratulate you. You've been nominated for an Emmy for our show."
Yeah.
Well, of course, I think it's one of my friends bullshitting. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm going along, but while I'm going along, I pick up my phone and I Google, and I'm like, "Mother effer, I have been nominated for an Emmy." Like, what? It was crazy. And then the day that it happened, I wasn't even going to go to the ceremony, because I just thought, it's not going to happen. And a friend of mine was doing a big show that I wanted to see, that she had been planning for a while. So they called me and said, we'd really like it if you could be there, the show. And I said, well, you guys have been great to me. I'll be there. And they said, well, your category is going to be at like 5:35. Then you can just head out if you have to right after. I said, okay, great. So I'm ready to do the fake applause, look around and congratulate whoever won and get the hell out of there.
That's right.
And Larry King, the winner is Jim O'Hare. I did not realize, I swear to you, my first thought, I've told this story, my first thought was, oh my God, that name is so familiar. And then the girl next to me from the show starts shaking me. She goes, and I'm like, what? I mean, I didn't want to shit or wind my watch. I didn't know what was going on. So I start walking up there, and I'm like, oh, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You haven't planned anything, because I swear to you, there was no thought of winning. So I got up there. I said whatever I said. Apparently, it was nice enough that no one hated me. But then I couldn't go to my friend's show because then it's press and parties. It's the whole thing the rest of the night. Yeah. But so, yes, I have an Emmy for a daytime soap opera.
That's terrific.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, Jim, thank you so much for the time today. And before we let you go, what do you have upcoming? What can we see you on next?
Well, right now I'm on a show called Bless This Mess on Tuesdays on
Love
ABC.
That. Yeah, you've got a really good role on that.
It's been fun. I recur on it, and I'm doing other stuff, so I can't be there as much as I would have liked to, but just the nature of the biz.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, shooting a film in March. Thankfully, Parks opened up so many doors that I'll be forever grateful for. It used to be I'd have to fight for every job, and I'm always happy to fight for a job. But because of Parks, a lot of jobs just kind of come my way now. They'll make an offer, and it's
as
lovely.
They should.
It's lovely. What's that?
I said, as they should.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'm glad they are. So
what's the,
I'm really grateful.
What's the show that you're doing in July? Where's it at?
Oh, Indianapolis. I believe it's called Pop. Don't quote me on this. PopCon.
Yeah, I think that's right. We need to try to go to that. We haven't been to that one.
I think Indianapolis, but look it up, because if you Google me with PopCon or something, and I'm sure something will pop up. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to come out there and say hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll have security and make sure you don't get near me, but sure, give it a try.
Fair enough.
As you should.
Yeah. That's like, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, all right, Jim. Thank you so much for the time.
My pleasure.
This has been great. One of my favorites. Yours too?
Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
Oh, how dare you.
Well, all right, sir. Enjoy the rest of your game. Great to talk.
Now
to you.
I hope you didn't do well on that final. Yes.
I heard that.
Take that.
That's right. Bye, Jim.
Bye.